Good morning, everybody. This is today is Friday. Back on to Vlog on with Stan episode 2, and I have somebody really special. And today we have our strategic account manager for Royal Caribbean International, and the beautiful and the charming Michelle Pharr. And today we're gonna just talk. Thank you, Michelle, for coming in today. I really appreciate it. I know you have a big territory to cover, but it's a very laid back Friday, and we're just gonna talk and about Royal Caribbean, about the destinations that they go, about their shore excursions, about the onboard activities that they have, the dining experience, and so on and so forth. So, Michelle, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Great, wonderful. So tell me about yourself. And I know that you've moved, as you shared, a year back or so from a consultant working at the travel company
Yes.
to Palace Resorts,
Yes.
and now the strategic account manager.
Yes.
Before that, your background, and then how has been travel industry for you?
I think more so than anything, travel's just been in my blood. And I say that because my mom was a travel agent growing up.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
And so I guess I kind of got drawn into that bug. You know, our
Sure.
family vacations consisted of going on cruises and,
Right.
all-inclusive destinations. And I think that's what really got me into it.
Mhm.
But I always told myself, oh, I'm never going to become a travel agent.
Okay.
And then I became a travel agent. So I went to college for business and
Sure.
then didn't even really utilize,
Okay.
that degree. And so
Sure.
to put myself kind of through college, I actually worked as a bank teller. And then, of course, moving into being a travel consultant, I was a travel consultant for about 3.5 years.
Good.
And my niche was those destination weddings and honeymoons.
Wow.
Was kind of thrown into it. I was getting married, and they're like, "Oh, good, you can deal with it." I'm like, "Thanks." So I was excited because I really built my desk up in the 3 years that I was there,
Sure.
and then I had an amazing opportunity to get into being on the rep side with Palace Resorts, and it was a great opportunity to start being a rep. And I covered 3 states. I covered all of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi,
Right.
and my Royal Caribbean rep at the time, Tammy Osman, she called me and she says, "Why haven't you applied for this Royal Caribbean position?" And I said, "Honestly, I thought it was filled."
Right.
And the rest is history.
Oh wow, great!
Yeah.
Right, that's great. And I guess sometimes in my personal life as well, I even though sometimes I thought I want to become this and that, but I guess over the time when you experience and when you
Yeah.
travel these places, and that's from my personal experience as well. Hospitality is in my blood,
Yes.
and I guess that's what just led me to the industry. And as I was mentioning to you, I have my startup as well.
Yep.
So that's just an experience that you share. That's great to know, and I'm glad that you work in one of the leading cruise lines in the world. And I really love the brand. It's unique in its own way.
It is.
Just you've spoken about briefly about your career. How has this leadership role? How are you, apart from your key responsible areas with Royal Caribbean, advocating in the travel industry, which is specifically the cruise industry? You've been in the hotel side of it. How have you been advocating the cruise industry since you've been working for Royal Caribbean International?
I think we always get asked, who's your biggest competitor? And I don't think it's necessarily another cruise line, because
Okay.
there's vendors out there for everyone. There's cruise lines out there for everyone. We're not everybody's fit,
Right.
but we're great for that multi-generational experience, and we
Yeah.
have luxury on board the ships as well.
Right.
I think our biggest competitor is those all-inclusives.
Yeah. Totally
And
agree.
so from me having that background from all-inclusive, it was a totally different track going into my travel partners and consumer functions,
Right.
of talking about the difference between. Me personally, I use myself as an example.
Sure.
In the 1.5 years that I worked with Palace Resorts,
Mhm.
I probably went to Mexico at least 12 times
Wow.
with doing site inspections with travel agents, showing them the brand, showing them the level of service that their clients are going to be receiving.
Right.
And it was one of the last fam trips that I did. We were there for 4 days, and one of the properties was closed, so we couldn't go and visit it. So we had a great beach day experience.
Right.
But I was staring out at the water talking with agents, and I realized, me personally, I could not do an all-inclusive more than 4 nights. Because I think everyone, when they're booking, says, oh, I'm going to go do all these excursions, get off property.
Right.
I never did that. I always just stayed on property, because if you're paying for an all-inclusive, all your meals and drinks are included.
But not the excursions.
Fair
point, yeah.
And so, me personally, again, I love to cruise. Right. And so I just use, that as an example. I won't do anything less than a 7-day, of course, unless if it's for work.
Right. So would I.
But, with that expectation of cruising, on an average 7-day sailing, you get to go to 3 different ports of call.
Yes.
Versus staying on one property.
Right.
And you have that opportunity to get off the ship if you want to.
Right.
And go and experience those excursions. And if you want to stay on board the ship, you can.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of how I really more so position it to consumers and, of course, travel agents as well.
That's well said. And recently I was reading an article. When you said about the all-inclusive, there are a couple of resorts which are coming up, and they're slowly and generally, I'm sure you might have read it as well, they're adding the shore, the excursion part. But they're doing that as well, but not all. One of the unique resorts that I was just reading the article, but. You're right. The fact that on a cruise, and that's what I educate everybody is, even be it a family reunion or just me myself going for a vacation. Yeah. At one point of time, at one sailing, that you can go to multiple destinations, and that is just amazing. That's on your bucket list. It's not Bahamas and Belize and then different vacations that I'm going. At one point, you can do that, and so it's everything combined. So
well, I think another thing too with those ports of call. Let's just say you've always wanted to go to Antigua and you don't know anything about it. Yeah. Instead of booking a week vacation there or a 5-night stay, why not test the waters, per se, with a cruise? Yeah. And if you absolutely love that destination, you can always go back to that specific destination and do a land stay. Yeah. So this is just a great way just to see different parts of the world, and that's why I love to cruise.
Wonderful. So with overall 26 award-winning ships, 275 destination plus, and about 1,394 seats, the largest meeting space, which I want to talk. I'm really looking forward to that. And how have you seen, since the time you've been in Royal Caribbean, how has it evolved? I want to touch that technology and innovation part as well, but first point is the destination. How have you seen with 275 destinations? Can you touch point in specifically Eastern Caribbean? I mean, there are, Western, Southern, or let's say Greek Isles, or, Southeast Asia. What can you just say? Has it been like from 150 to 200? How is it you've increased, and what is that is evolved out of the years, which is you've seen like people want to go to this place and they've been there.
Right. Well, I think this year, I don't know if you realize, we are actually celebrating our 50th anniversary. Yeah. So the company was actually founded in 1969 and the first sailing was in 1971. So, obviously we didn't have 275 destinations back then, and of course I have not visited all those destinations, although it's on my bucket list.
Yes.
I think with the destinations, it's giving those consumers an opportunity to travel almost anywhere on their bucket list. Right. We have some form of a destination for that. I think with Europe, there's so many individual home ports like Southampton, you have Barcelona, you have Rome, you have Athens that you can depart out of, and then not to mention Australia, New Zealand, Dubai, Asia with Hong Kong and Shanghai, and then you have local here in North America as well. So you have the Northeast like Cape Liberty, doing Canada, New England, Hawaii, yeah, with those repositioning cruises, especially going from Australia, New Zealand over to Alaska.
Right.
We have Hawaii.
Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska, Galveston.
Yes.
That's the biggest home port for us, which is, a blessing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Florida is home. To, the majority of our ships.
Right.
But I think giving those clients all those different opportunities to check mark that bucket list
Right.
is what's key. And with Royal Caribbean, we're known for innovation.
Right.
And so if you look at the first ship versus an Oasis class ship, one of our mega ships,
Yeah.
we've definitely come a long way.
Yes.
But like Oasis of the Seas, Harmony of the Seas, Allure, and Symphony, our brand new ship that just debuted, we've added the Bionic Bar.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
And so the Bionic Bar is just a completely different experience.
Yes.
There is no bartenders. It's actually 2 robotic arms.
Yes.
And you order a drink off an iPad, and you can have it shaken or stirred.
Yeah.
The liquor is dispensed up above.
Yeah.
And, it's delivered to you.
Yeah. I witnessed it. I went on a day to do the ship inspection. I witnessed that, and that was just amazing. Harmony of the Seas was just absolutely. I was there for the what do you say, the ceremony.
The inaugural.
The inaugural.
Yeah.
Which is not the naming ceremony, but the inaugural. But it was a great experience, and it's a world in itself, and it's absolutely. And I could not imagine what Symphony is gonna be. Even though it's the Oasis class, I most of the things.
It's the sister ship.
So,
yeah, the difference between what you saw in Harmony and Symphony of the Seas, I think she is larger by 2 feet.
Okay.
To make her the largest ship.
Uh-huh.
But we did add Playmakers, sports bar, and arcade, which is on the boardwalk by the Aqua Theater.
Right.
Playmakers, it's a great place to catch any type of sporting event. Grab a beer, wings, sliders. There's a pool table, an arcade attached to it.
Okay.
So that was something new that we brought forth to the fleet.
Okay.
Of course, she had the Ultimate Abyss, which is that 10-story dry slide.
Right.
We added Hairspray, which is a new Broadway production. And Hooked Seafood, which is a new specialty restaurant to the fleet, is probably now one of my favorite specialty restaurants. It's a play on New England style type seafood. So fresh shucked oysters, lobster rolls, an amazing messy fish sandwich. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I'm going right now after the lunch. Probably have lobsters, maybe. So I guess that's very informative, and thanks for sharing that. And we look forward to many other unique experiences on the Symphony. Talking about the shore excursions, be it active or for the family, the cultural side of it in terms of the ancient civilization when you go to Mexico and so on.
Right.
How is it different? And I know you mentioned we're going to multiple ports. How is it different that versus any of the competitors, or what can they experience? Based on the shore excursions are concerned?
I think when you're looking at the shore excursions by the different ports of call, we have that multi-generational excursion for family adventure. So like laser tag in the Mayan ruins, that's something that we can set up for them.
Right.
Or with the cultural immersion experience, it's releasing sea turtles. Kind of giving back to the world in that sense.
Right.
We also have humanitarian shore excursions. And I actually was able to take my family on Allure of the Seas this past June. As soon as my little one turned 6 months, he was on his first sailing. And we went to San Juan.
Oh, wow.
And we did a humanitarian excursion where we rebuilt a park for the kids.
Wow.
So it was covered in weeds, and so we pulled the weeds, we rode, weed whacked and painted and planted fresh trees for them. So that was a great experience because we got to take our kids to do that too. So they're lucky enough to go on a cruise, but I wanted them to give back as well. And then we have some romantic type destinations. Going in Jamaica, they can do Dunn's River Falls. So there's so much to do. Alaska with those adventure seekers.
Cruise tours.
Yeah, exactly. Cruise tours or zip lining down Icy Strait Point, one of the
Yeah.
tallest zip lines
Yeah.
in the world.
Right.
So we have that adventure seekers as well.
Right.
So it's a little something for everyone. But again, if you just want a great beach day experience,
You can do that as
we
well.
can do that as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So giving those clients multiple options, I think, is what's key, especially to an amazing, successful vacation
Right.
for the family.
And I think that goes back to the fact that I, being that side of, as running a travel company,
Yeah,
to kind of educate that you're not just going for a cruise.
right.
Pre or post, stay
Mhm.
extra nights at, reaching to San Juan, or you're in Athens, just,
Right.
go for sightseeing there local, and then after that as well.
Yeah.
So it's just not about you're taking the long haul flight 7 nights and you come back, spend a couple of more days, then you
Right.
do pre and post where we can book hotels through you.
Yeah.
There's transfers, and then travel protection and all of that. So it's all about us taking the initiative to explaining and giving that entire experience and advising it to them. So we already spoke about the fleet: Quantum Class, Oasis, Freedom, Voyager, Radiance, Vision,
Yeah. 7 classes.
Sovereign, and Empress. And I'm a great fan, as pretty much because we've already spoke that the innovation about Oasis and Harmony and the Symphony. Is there anything specifically that you want to talk about Symphony, which you already mentioned? Anything that you want to say technologically? Bionic bark I saw, and there's the ice skating. What else? Ultimate Ibis.
I think Symphony, we do have something cool too, and it wasn't just released on Symphony, but
Mhm.
we do have virtual interior staterooms.
Oh, I
So
heard
for those
that.
clients that are maybe more so on a budget,
Right.
they can actually book a virtual interior stateroom, and
Oh, yeah.
by that I mean it's kind of like a little projector.
Right.
There's a switch that they can turn on and off, but it gives them a live feed, like a balcony. It has kind of like a
Right.
railing,
Uh-huh.
but it has a live feed of what is outside.
That's amazing.
So again, for those clients that necessarily can't afford that balcony experience,
Right.
that is something that they can turn on and off, and there's like a little curtain on the wall that they can close. So it's just giving them a different experience overall.
Right. So that is true innovation, and I
Yeah.
guess that's a great step. And I'm seeing that from other competitors, and how technologically they're
Right.
focused, and it's just amazing to see, and that's just amazing. And somebody who cannot go on a balcony or ocean view
Yeah.
can really witness that.
But I think another thing too to highlight with Oasis class, it's almost like a floating city.
yeah.
You're on a ship with 5,400 guests,
Right.
and there's 7 neighborhoods. And by the 7 neighborhoods, it's the boardwalk. So it's kind of open air where the aqua theater shows are. Then you have Central Park.
Central Park, yeah.
Is probably one of my favorite destinations. On the ship, it's not as chaotic
Yeah.
as like the
Spread
Royal
out.
Promenade
Right.
or the boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of the specialty restaurants in the
Mhm.
Central Park area,
Yeah.
like Chops Grill, our signature steakhouse, Giovanni's or
Chef
Jamie's
Table,
Italian,
Izumi.
yeah,
Mhm.
Vintages, which is the wine bar. So there's so many places on board the ship
Mhm.
that are going to be complimentary, but
Wow.
so well spread out that
Sure.
you don't feel like you're on a ship with that many people.
Wow.
We have the Flow Rider, which is the surf
Yeah, I was about to
simulator.
ask you that. Yeah.
That was one of our first innovations
Sure.
that we brought to the fleet. Moving down to Quantum Class,
Mhm.
we have Anthem of the Seas that's currently sailing out of Cape Liberty, New Jersey,
Yeah.
and Ovation of the Seas, which will be sailing out of Alaska. So I'm
Right.
super excited for. But the activities and innovation on
Mhm.
board that ship is the Ripcord by iFly.
Right. And I was saying-
Indoor skydiving,
Yeah.
outside on the deck, again complimentary.
Yeah.
So
Is the Aqua Theater? It's on the Oasis.
it's just Oasis class.
Oasis class, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can do the Ripcord by iFly, and in that ship as well, it's called the Seaplex.
Mm.
That has like inline skating. It has the bumper cars
Oh yeah.
on board the ship.
Right.
A trapeze school for the littler kids during the day.
Right.
So there's a lot of different activities and just finding the right fit for your client.
Right. And that happens when you qualify the client
Absolutely.
Appropriately. And the North Star is on the anthem.
Yes.
That is another amazing, even though it looks simple, but the whole experience that you're like literally in a cubicle, it reminds me of the Big Ben. It's like it's just amazing. It's a different, unique experience right on the top, just going one to the side on the left. It's just amazing. So I was saying about all the activities on board, just keeps you so much busy that even if you're on a sea day, you've got the tidal wave, the flow rider, the whirlpool, the pool parties, Spanish classes, the Latin dance classes. I mean, these are different, strategically placed. It's so you can experience all of that when you're not bored. You're never bored, and that's the best part. Even when you're on the cruise. So like I said, it's like a world in a world, in itself, a city in a city. Talk us through the dining. What can the clients experience in terms of the chef table, and also the 150 Central Park, which is like farm to fork. So, do you have any Michelin star chefs out there, or what is the uniqueness they can expect, especially from the specialty dining?
Yeah, on board the ship, I think everyone's perception of cruising is just eating.
Yeah.
You gain so much weight on a cruise. Yes. And because there's so many just complimentary dining spaces available. So on board our ship, across the fleet, you're going to see the main dining. The main dining, they do have breakfast hours, but obviously it's more for the dinner rush. So you have main seating or late seating. So on average, it's anywhere between, I would say, 5:30 and 6:30 to 8:30 that you can choose from. Or you can do my time dining, giving your clients a little bit more flexibility, where they can go anytime between 5:30 and 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock,
and they can make reservations if they want to, or if they just want to show up into the main dining room, they're able to do that as well. If your clients don't want to get dressed up for dinner, they can eat at Windjammer, which is our buffet. So that's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then we also have our specialty restaurants. So Jamie's Italian, or Giovanni's Table, which is family style Italian dining. Chops Grill, again, our signature steakhouse. That's one of my favorites. 150 Park Central. That my husband and I actually tried out because I've not experienced that before. And it was definitely that farm to table freshness that you're going to get. One of my favorite things was before they brought out the appetizers, they brought us out like a little plate, and it had 8 different salts. And one of them was like a Himalayan salt. The other one, they called it lava something, but it almost had like a hard-boiled egg taste to it. It was just different. But they brought like breads that you could, put it with. So that was just kind of a different experience. Overall, the food quality, of course, was amazing. I mentioned hooked seafood.
I wanted to just get more. What was the menu look like? What all?
It was definitely your New England style type experience. It almost, I've never been to Martha's Vineyard, but I have this envision that it's, the white and blues that are just kind of open and beachy. Right as you walk in, they have the oyster bar right there that you could order fresh shucked oysters from. New England clam chowder,
Mouthwatering.
I know, I'm probably making you hungry.
Yes, and you had it.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
But one of my favorite specialty restaurants is Wonderland.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's got you write something? I don't know what it was, but I wanted to hear.
It's different, it's an out of this world experience. It's a play on Alice in Wonderland. So everyone is actually kind of dressed up into a character. So the lady, when you walk in, is kind of dressed up as Alice, and she has the blue dress and the white apron, and there's a Mad Hatter, and he has all the costume and the makeup down to a T. He's very energetic when he's talking to you, goes around to all the tables. And then, of course, your waiters and everything are dressed in like this maroon penguin style suit.
Wow.
It's very
Like
magical.
Magical, yeah.
And so when you sit down, you're given this photo frame and a piece of paper.
Right.
And you have to use your magic paintbrush to paint over it, and the words appear. And so you're able to order off of that. It plays on the 7 elements.
Right.
So like fire and ice.
Right.
And you can choose what you want to order.
Okay.
There's like 3 multiple choices kind of like out of each section.
Sure.
Or you can kind of do a chef's choice.
Okay.
This is a specialty restaurant that you want to go and make sure you have enough time for. And I say that because on average it can take between 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
But if you tell your waiter ahead of time to kind of, just kind of keep them coming out.
Right.
They can speed up the process, but it's the experience that you're getting.
It is unique.
It is very
Undoubtedly.
unique. So it's not large portions.
Right.
It's shareable portions.
Sure.
And one of my favorite things is the smoked deviled eggs.
Ooh, that sounds
And
devilish.
it comes in like this glass dome where you can see like the smoke
coming out of it,
and they kind of twirl the top off, and the smoke makes these it's just a different experience.
Wow.
And upstairs where the actual bar is, it's a mixology bar. So if you're wanting to get a very fancy drink, they can do it there as well.
Wow, that's great. So we're looking at an average cost for the specialty dining. We're looking at 20.
I would say on
30.
average with the specialty dining, it's
Sure.
anywhere between $25 to $55.
Right. Okay. And kids, they are the same, or do they get a?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Children are the same. Definitely would not want to take a child to Wonderland. One, because of the duration, and 2, it's probably not food that they're going to necessarily like. I think most kids are pizza, mac and cheese, chicken nuggets, and you're not going to get that at Wonderland.
Okay.
But great options for a date night.
Right.
Or if a group is celebrating anything like a birthday or anniversary, a great option to splurge a little bit.
Right.
So those specialty dining areas are there for the clients if they choose to use them.
Right.
But then we still have more complimentary dining
As well.
experiences.
Right.
Sorrento's Pizza is one of our favorite. It's fleet-wide, so all the free pizza that you can possibly want. So kids are always in line for pizza. But again, we also have cupcake making classes on board. So it's the cupcake cupboard. That does cost extra.
Okay.
But we do have free ice cream, all the ice cream they could possibly want for the length of the sailing.
Wow.
Which could be dangerous.
It could be dangerous. It's not going to be when I'm getting out of the ship, who are you? I don't recognize you. But that's just amazing. The whole spread from main dining to to the specialty dining. There's so much of variety that you can experience. Few days in the main dining, and then some with your with your wife, or just birthday parties and Izumi.
Yeah, Izumi is one of my favorite. It's the Asian infusion.
Right.
So we have a sushi bar that you can actually sit at, but then we also have hibachi in there as well. Yeah, exactly. So
that's a great experience.
when we were on a lure back in June, my daughter and I go get sushi. Like that's kind of like our date night.
Right.
And we did a sushi making class
Oh, wow.
on board, and it was so much fun. I think it was $30 per person, so inexpensive.
So you make it by yourself?
Yep, you get to make 3 rolls, and it was just a fun experience. Because she had brought to my attention one time we were eating, she's like, I wonder how hard it is to actually make sushi. And I was like, I imagine it was pretty hard. And then I didn't realize we had sushi making classes.
Wow.
And one of my agents actually told me about it.
Oh.
And so we did it, and she absolutely loved it.
Wow, that's great. I'm sure. Oh, that's amazing. That's something that you wanted to do, and you could do it right on the ship. That's just amazing. I am starving, but not too many questions out there. But this is one of the important questions, which specifically from our company standpoint, where as we focus onto the incentive conference events part, and I totally understand. Roll Curve International stands out as an ultimate event destination, and I could read from the portfolio with like Studio B, I was able to, is it on the Harmony, I guess, with seating of 475 guests, there's conference with multiple configuration, theater style, or different styles that you can use with 400 seating. And then there's also a lot of social gathering that you can have. When I remember Harmony of the Seas, there was a place where this bar goes up and down or something. There was a wedding which was happening.
Yeah.
And I know jaw-dropping, entertainment for the incentive groups, be it the Aqua Theater or team building experiences,
Absolutely.
Florida. So how the team back in Royal Caribbean headquarters, how can, if I'm having an incentive group, 100, 200, 300, in what all different ways can you strategically help us, companies such as us, in terms of building this group, and also that entire experience, which you probably have seen it with groups,
Yes.
large groups, small groups, or incentive groups and events. What are your talk through us in regards to
Yeah, I think a lot of corporations forget about cruising as an incentive meeting opportunity.
Yeah.
With Royal Caribbean, you have to have a minimum of 8 staterooms,
That's amazing. Yeah.
16 guests to be considered a group. So once you have that, you get complimentary access to our
the-
conference space.
That's
So you're not having to pay for that. So I think that is a difference between us and some other vendors out there. So we
Right.
offer the complimentary meeting spaces.
Right.
We can give group shore excursions. So we can create something specific towards your group, as whether it's a team building experience. As you
Right.
mentioned, you could do, rent the flow rider, complimentary, and just have your group doing the flow rider or rock climbing wall.
Oh wow, that's great.
So there's definitely different opportunities
Sure.
there. And then you also earn points to kind of give back to the group, whether you wanted to offer them a complimentary bottle of wine into their stateroom,
Right. Cocktail hours.
or a cocktail hour. Absolutely. So most of the venue spaces on board the ship is something that you could arrange ahead of time
Sure.
by going to the ship's coordinator
Right.
and giving them an example. I have this group,
Sure.
it's 30 staterooms, 60 guests, let's
Sure.
say,
Mhm.
and we can host a private cocktail hour at the Star Lounge, where it's just exclusive to your group.
Right.
It's not open to the rest of the
Right.
ship.
That's
But going back to the meeting spaces, with the conference space on board,
right.
if they're wanting to do an award ceremony,
Right.
they can utilize the Royal Theater as long as it doesn't intertwine with our ship's onboard activities.
Okay.
So, sending that out to the events coordinator plenty of time to
Ahead.
make sure that they can work with all of your requirements or your agenda.
Right.
But then we also are able to do dining experiences. If you wanted to rent out a specialty restaurant just for your group,
That is
you can do that.
Right. Right.
So I think a lot of people have a misconception when
Yeah.
it comes to cruising of what you can actually physically do on board. It's
But
not just a big white boat.
Right. Right.
It's an amazing ship destination that can accommodate singles all the way up
right.
to groups.
Right. That's great, and so many activities, like you mentioned
Absolutely.
everything about it. So that is one of the great concepts that the cruise lines Royal Caribbean has, which is great. And I know about royal weddings. I saw a lot of content on the website, which is really helpful as well.
Yes.
Quick thoughts about that, before
So yeah, the royal weddings.
for all our wedding planners
Yes.
out there.
That's a great connection to have. If you
Yes.
know any wedding planning,
Yes.
be like, hey, I can help plan the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Or destination weddings.
Yes.
So the destination weddings, I'll just use Liberty of the Seas
Mhm.
as an example because it's right out of Galveston. If you are planning like a destination wedding, not everyone can afford to fly to Mexico
Right.
or fly to the Caribbean or
Right.
Hawaii.
Right.
Do it as a cruise because it's kind of 2 birds with 1 stone for the couple. They can use the sailing as their honeymoon as well.
Yeah.
And not taking extra time off. So you can actually get married on the ship before it departs for the actual sailing. So if you have family members that can't afford to travel or can't take the time off to travel, they can drive down to Galveston.
Right.
The royal weddings, as soon as the ship is cleared, they're actually boarded first.
Right.
They do the ceremony on board. If they want to have a cocktail hour or a quick reception lunch on board the ship, they
Sure.
can do that too. and then the guests that are not sailing have to be off by 2:30.
Right. Oh.
So you have that experience. You're still able to share that moment with the bride and the groom.
Right.
Or for those people that are able to sail, if they wanted to get married in a destination at one of the ports of call, we can set that up as well.
So land and cruise,
Yeah.
both is option. Yeah, that's just amazing, and and there's enough of information which we can provide, or it's on the website as well.
Absolutely.
Wrapping up with a couple of questions, just going to combine that. Perfect Day, Coco Cay, debuted 2019 in May. Towering slides, rushing tides, overwater cabanas, which a lot of my clients go to Maldives all the way, Tahiti. It is coming. I don't know if a few of the resorts are coming up with that concept.
Right.
I know it. I'm not going to take their names, but this is a great opportunity. Cruise and all that water activities, the cabanas, and of course the lagoon, and all of that.
Yeah.
And what can we expect in 2019 and 20? What's happening new with Royal Caribbean?
There is so much new
Excitement.
going on. Again, because we're always looking for new ways to innovate.
Right.
And just like you said, the Perfect Day at Coco Cay is our new innovation. So backtracking just a little bit, we actually have 2 private islands. We have Labadee, Haiti, which is a great beach day experience. And then we have Coco Cay, which is now going to be the perfect day at Coco Cay.
Right.
So ask your clients what their perfect day looks like on their private island.
Right.
So if they're wanting a great beach day experience, we have Chill Island and South Beach, where they can just hang out on the lounge chairs, walk into the water. On South Beach, it's where the sandbars are, so you can walk out almost a mile and just be up to your waist in water. But yeah, the Perfect Day is scheduled to open up in May of 2019.
Right.
One of the new enhancements that is actually being utilized right now is our pier, which is big, because previously we tendered.
Right.
And so we finally built a pier, so no more cancellations to Coco Cay, which is great. But yes, the Perfect Day opens up in May of 2019. So we're introducing the Thrill Water Park, which is going to have the tallest water slide in North America.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
I won't go down it. I'll watch other people,
Yeah. That's a unique selling point right there, especially from a family perspective.
Absolutely. Splashaway Bay. I know that you're familiar with Liberty of the Seas out of Galveston.
Yeah.
It's a smaller water park for the kids.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So the drench buckets, the water cannons, miniature water slides that they can go and hang out with. Yeah. We're introducing Captain Jack's Galleon, which is a shipwreck. So right as you're coming from the pier, you're going to be introduced to Captain Jack's Galleon, a shipwreck for like the toddler kids.
Right.
That they can go and play with the water.
Right.
And then Oasis Lagoon.
Right.
The largest freshwater pool in the Caribbean with 0 depth entry, so they can just walk straight in.
Wow.
And we're introducing 2 new dining opportunities. Right. So we have Chill Grill and
I forgot the name.
Skipper's Grill.
Right.
That are going to be complimentary as well.
Wow.
And then, of course, the wave pool, which is going to be in the Thrill Water Park. And then we're also introducing the Cocoa Beach Club. The Cocoa Beach Club is actually going to be exclusive to suite guests.
Okay.
For those clients that are in a balcony or below, they can pay a surcharge to get into it.
Get in there. Okay.
But there's so much other things
already
to do on the island, including zip line.
Yeah.
We're adding zip line. And Up and Away, which is a hot air balloon experience going 450 feet in the air.
Wow.
It's a tethered experience, but giving the clients a 360-degree view of the island.
That is magnificent.
So a bird's eye
impeccable.
view. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But the Cocoa Beach Club and the Overwater Bungalows, which is the first in the Bahamas, is actually scheduled to open in December of 2019.
Sure.
But everything else, May of 2019. And I'm super excited. We get to go for our sales meeting at the end of May.
Oh, wow. That's
amazing. I'll get to test the waters out.
Yeah. Well, then you can share it, with your clients how it was. And
yes.
That's amazing. But that is so much of information, this and much more. This is just a little snippet that, of all the major points that I wanted to cover. And just to summarize Royal Caribbean, in maybe a couple of lines. It's difficult, but just
Yeah.
what can you just? All I say is come seek. That's the tagline.
That is the tagline.
So I think,
yes.
do you want to add a few things
You
and
know,
then as we wrap up?
Yeah, it's come seek the Royal Caribbean. So we're not just in the Caribbean.
Right.
Remember,
Worldwide.
we are worldwide.
Yes.
And so it's come seek worldwide.
Yeah.
You know, and with those innovative ships,
Mm-hmm.
that really sets us apart from everyone else.
Right.
And we're known for that multi-generational experience, but also we have something for everyone.
Right.
Whether you're looking for a smaller fleet up to the mega ship,
Mm-hmm.
we have that experience.
Yeah.
So
right.
definitely come and check us out. We'd love to have you guys on board.
Yeah.
And hopefully, maybe I can come back and talk about the perfect day
Absolutely.
in June.
Yes. That's going to be another session that we want to have. And I missed out one thing very importantly was the suite, which is the butler, what the genie.
So yeah, the suite class for those clients that are a little bit higher end,
Right.
that are used to Regent or Crystal cruise lines,
Right. The loft.
the loft suites. Yeah. So
I love that.
we have the loft suites available on the Quantum
Right.
class ships and Oasis class ships.
Okay.
And it's called the Royal Suite class.
Royal Suite class.
So on those two classes of ships, the leading category is the C tier. So it's junior suites.
Right.
And then you move up to the Sky tier,
Mhm.
which is grand suites and your one bedrooms.
Right.
And then you have the Star tier, which is your loft suites, 2 bedrooms, that's all included.
Right.
So for those clients that are used to
Mm-hmm.
luxury
Pampered.
and being pampered and all inclusive, with the Star, it includes your gratuities. It includes all the specialty dining that you could
Wow.
imagine.
Walking anywhere.
Exactly. It includes the drink package. So if they're 21 and older, the deluxe beverage package. If they're kids, they get the soda package. You get priority seating for entertainment. So in the Royal Theater, the Aqua Theater, and you get the Royal Genie, which
he does
is
everything.
Yes. So your wish is your command, and I always say as long as it's legal and ethical.
Yes.
But I know we had one, like with the grandparents,
Yeah.
you know, with those multi-generational, they'll book themselves in a suite and maybe, you know, the family in the other categories, but they could do an ice cream social into their stateroom for the grandkids.
Wow.
So that's something that they could set up.
Yeah.
They're walking them on and off the ship.
Right.
And it's just a different level experience that your client is
Yeah.
going to receive.
Yeah. So it's still there as a premium luxury experience with Royal Caribbean and for the multi-generation. But
Yes.
this is great information and first-hand information from Michelle and
Yes.
how she has experienced in terms of her work, and she's traveled, she's been on the ships, the destination, the activities. There's so much more that we can cover, and hopefully we'll have her again on another session once she visits the perfect
Yeah.
day at Coco Cay.
Yes.
I want to thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate it. I know you have a very hectic schedule coming all the way, being part of this session, and we hope you all the best.
Thank you.
And especially, with information that you guys can get more in terms of just your vacation, family vacation,
Yeah.
groups, incentives, events, royal weddings. You all can reach out. Our website is up. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere. We're live. And but I really want, and this experience and much more, we're happy to share with you in detail.
Yes.
You can reach out to us at DestinationPick.com and all of that on the social media as well. Michelle, once again, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, you're so
And
welcome.
all the best wishes for the future. And we're really excited to come and seek Royal Caribbean.
Yes.
This is Stanley signing off. Vlog On with Stan, episode 2. You have a great weekend ahead. Thank you, Michelle.
Bye.
Bye.